everybody. Welcome to Supernatural Dejavu. I am your host, Nick Sarlo, along with Patrick Corellis.
Hello.
Come on, Pat. Can you can you hear me?
Yeah,
Perfect. How's it going with you?
good. How are you?
Good. Just how about that hurricane that's hitting Florida right now?
Yeah, I've been busy with my day job tracking that hurricane. So, for those of you who don't know, I have a meteorology degree, interned with a Chicago meteorologist over here, Tom Skilling. I'm sure the local people know him. So, on Shadow Hunters, I do weather stuff, so spirits that react to different weather. And then I do historian, so I look up histories about the places we investigate and see if there's anything that we may want to find out or recover, or what we may see, things like that.
Absolutely. And I can't tell you how many times we have done investigations where weather has definitely played a huge factor in the paranormal activity that we have captured. For example, lightning that brings energy right there to the spirits and stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah, and Nick and I investigated in uh, polar vortex weather. It was like 20 degrees below zero, and we actually got activity. It was in Antioch at Hillside Cemetery, and that was interesting.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was cold. That was
Yeah.
really cold. So we are here to do a brand new show for you guys. It's called Supernatural Deja Vu. You guys may have seen it a little bit on YouTube. We have done some stuff on YouTube, naming it Supernatural Deja Vu, that just has anything to do with the odd or mysterious UFOs, Bigfoot, anything like that. So that's pretty much I can't talk. What this show is we are going to bring you different stories of the paranormal or anything strange and unusual. It's not going to be like my poster, Stranger Things, or it might be. You never know. Maybe we'll come across a Demi Gordon, or Chrissy's going to be getting her bones cracked. You never know. Uh, um, but no, tonight we have a very interesting subject. It's a subject that I've was always curious in ever since I started with the paranormal, and that is called the Black-Eyed Kids phenomena. If for those that do not know, the Black-Eyed Kids phenomena, it's where the kids would literally ring your doorbell, and they would have black eyes, and they would always constantly say, "Can I come in? Can I come in?" You are never ever supposed to let them in. If you let them in, you are just causing major trouble for yourselves. Pat, what were you able to find a little bit more on the Black Eyed Kids?
Yeah. Kids, they ranged from ages 6 to 13. So basically barely teenager age and younger. And there was a report of two sightings. Um, and that happened back in 1996 in Abilene, Texas. This
Mm-hmm.
was a Texas reporter named Brian Bethel. He's on a ghost related mailing list, and that's where he talked about how he saw these two black eyed kids in Texas. And he also claimed that a second person had a similar encounter in Portland, Oregon. So those were the biggest encounters, but events of black eyed kids have gone back as far as the 1980s. So it's definitely a newer
Mm-hmm.
phenomena. Uh, it could have been before the 1980s, but those were just the first reports. Ages 6 to 16, actually, so a little bit older than that. And they usually have black eyes, pale skin. They're reportedly seen hitchhiking, begging, and as Nick said, ringing your doorbell, wanting to come in. I've never seen one. I don't know, Nick, have you seen one before?
I have not, and I really hope I never do see one after the strange stories I've heard.
Yeah, and
Now, this goes for our audience tonight. For those of you that are watching, have you guys ever had any encounters with the Black Eyed Kids phenomena? If you have, let us know. in the comments, we would love to go ahead and discuss that with you. Now, I know there have been other people that have discussed the same subject, and it's very interesting because where does this kind of stuff come from? That's what I'm always thinking.
Yeah, same. And I know there's a movie out there which I didn't even know till today when I was looking up more things about Black-Eyed Kids. I guess in 2012 it came out. It's called Black-Eyed Kids, and I actually want to see it because I'm very curious about it, and I just kind of want to see what the movie is about and things like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It says, oh, Jenny, what did Jenny write? She put, I can't read. Jenny, what'd you say? I know Nick Redfern has a good book about it. Oh, that would be really cool to hear about or to actually read about. But yeah, it's very interesting, like these kind of subjects that pop up because is it our imagination that is putting it forward to make these creatures show up, or is it? Because I remember, do you remember the whole? No, I'm not going to be able to think of his name. Not the Thin Man. The what is it? Like he would hide in the woods. Um,
Oh,
for those of you guys watching, help me out because I know you guys know. Um, Mike the Naked Bigfoot. Stories of Black-Eyed Kids go back generations, which I could see. I knew it's just some of the stuff that we did our research on. We really didn't find too much on the Black-Eyed Kids phenomena, so we just found from the 1980s. But I'm sure it does go back to generations. Um, I can't think of that guy's name in the woods, but he's very tall. He's skinny, but people said that he was manifested from um, like people's thoughts and all that. I can't think of the name.
Wasn't there something in, I think it was like Indiana, where there was a girl that, or two girls, and they like worshipped this guy and Slender Man.
Slenderman, that's it. That's
Yes.
it. Yep.
Yeah, and they worshipped him, and supposedly they said, "Oh, Slender Man told us to stab." So they caught this other girl and like stabbed her so many times, and she ended up surviving. But the girls just kept saying, "Slender Man told us to do it," something like
Mhm.
that. But that's another interesting thing that we should talk about on another episode because that always interested me. That whole story.
Oh, absolutely. And I wonder if Black-Eyed Kids are the same thing. Like, was that made up because of something like that? So I've never, but yeah, I've never came across anything like that, and I know you haven't either. But I think it would be kind of interesting
Oh
to
yeah.
see if anything like that did happen. Like, here's my thing: is it a demon? Is that what it is? I mean, we've all seen the show Supernatural, and we know, you know, same thing. The demon's eyes turn black and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know if that could be part of it, or if this is something completely different. Jenny said she went to jail for killing and can't remember what her. Oh, she can't remember what her sentence was. Okay. We got another comment. Heard stories of them appearing to coal miners in the mines in West Virginia. Oh, there we go. That would be interesting. I was going to say, Pat, are you by your computer? See if you can see anything.
Yeah, I'm checking to see.
Jenny said the second teenager girl charged with stabbing a classmate to curry favor with fictional horror figure Slender Man has been sentenced to 40 years in a mental hospital. Well, I can see why.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. That's the crazy. Such an interesting story.
Mm-hmm.
But they said, yeah, the children don't even look threatening, and that's like an interesting thing. And the eyes look like dead black orbs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like creepy. I hope I never encounter one.
No, thank you. But they say they do ring the doorbell, and they're very polite, is what I've heard. They're very polite. Oh, can we come in? Let us in. Let us in. Don't ever let them in, because they say that they can turn your lives into chaos and everything like that. So yeah, no, thank you. I'm good with that one. Not even if people are selling Girl Scout cookies, I'm not even opening the door for that one either.
Yeah, it says people like still claim to see black-eyed children while driving late at night down an empty road, outside their window, or even lurking like in the shadows of their room. And people have reported seeing black-eyed children standing in the corner of their room during their episodes of sleep paralysis, or even waking up in the middle of the night because they sensed someone was watching them, and it was the shadows of these children. So that's very interesting, and I don't
That's
know.
that's another thing that scares me. Have you ever had sleep paralysis?
I haven't. I've had problems sleeping, but I haven't had like I don't think I've had sleep paralysis per se.
So sleep paralysis is where your mind is awake but not awake at the same time. So what happens is you're sleeping but you're not sleeping. So pretty much like you can open your eyes and stuff like that and you can smell stuff, but you can't move the rest of your body. It's just frozen. You can't do anything. And what they say what happens is you'll see like bad stuff start coming towards you and all that kind of stuff, like shadow figures and all that, but you can't move, you can't do anything, you can't breathe. You start gasping for breath and everything. It's the scariest thing. I hate sleep paralysis. I used to get it all the time and I hate it. And doctors don't know exactly kind of what causes it yet, but a lot of people, like especially the paranormal people, they say it's a paranormal phenomenon. But they have done stuff. They have done studies of the brain, and it's almost kind of like they can't figure it out. Mike the Naked Bigfoot says, I don't know about that. If they shut up selling Thin Mints, I would have to let them in. I mean, come on, it's Thin Mints.
I agree.
I can see that. I'm more of the chocolate peanut butter one, but Thin Mints are good. I'm not gonna lie, those are pretty good.
Yeah, the closest I've been to sleep paralysis is I know Nick. You've been hypnotized. We were hypnotized at the Six Flags over here by Susan Rosen. Peace. She was a great hypnotist. But yeah, definitely interesting, and it makes basically what she said is it's like you get hypnotized for like a half hour, but it's like you were asleep for like 10 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
it's equivalent to 8 to 10 hours nighttime rest. Yeah.
yeah.
And I remember that because I would always wake up feeling refreshed, not knowing exactly what happened, but I would wake up feeling refreshed and everything. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting experience. But I don't know, like that kind of creeps me out now that the Blackout Kids phenomena can cause sleep paralysis, and I keep burping and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I don't like that.
Yeah, definitely. Has anyone seen the Black-Eyed Kids movie?
Yeah, anybody seen the movie? What would let us know what you guys thought of it? Because honestly, I haven't even heard of it. But it doesn't surprise me that here comes Hollywood. There's a thing going on. Oh, let's make a movie of it. There's always a movie of everything that Hollywood does. Melissa Hirschman. What she said.
Melissa. Me and horror movies aren't best friends.
Oh, what are you talking about? You love horror movies, don't lie. You get chased around a lot too.
Yeah, I'm gonna dress up as a little Chucky doll and find Melissa. Just joking.
That'd be great. Yeah, for those of you guys that are out there, if you guys have any questions or anything too about anything that we do with Shadow Hunters and all that, just let us know. Don't make me call you by your nickname, Nick, because I will. Oh, you mean Sparkle Farts or whatever it is? Patrick, don't you dare. Oh, Patrick, you have to do it now.
Yeah, there's like there's even been like there's pictures of like black-eyed infant of what it might look like, group of black-eyed kids. I'm just like looking up things. 5 scary black-eyed kids caught on camera. Ooh. So there's like some interesting stuff on the internet that I want to do more research on.
You could definitely probably. I was going to say you could probably find a lot of YouTube videos on all that kind of stuff too. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
But yeah, if you guys do want to talk about any other topics tonight, just let us know. We thought we'd just kind of start out with Black-Eyed Kids phenomena. We just, this is our first show, so we did some research, but we really couldn't find a lot of stuff on it. But now that we're doing even more, we're finding more stuff. Wasn't Patrick's walk through Ashmore like 30 seconds in June?
Yes. One of the
Patrick had a good walkthrough at Ashmore Estates. It was definitely interesting. For those of you that don't know, we went to Ashmore Estates in Ashmore, Illinois, and it was a scary place. It had some pretty good activity to it. And then the next day we went to Indiana State Sanatorium, and that's where I saw my first shadow figure, and I ran out of the building.
Yeah, that was interesting. We're gonna post our episode on Paraflix, so make sure you sign up to watch that of what we found. Yeah, Nick went down by himself and saw a figure, and you could clearly see it. So that's gonna be an interesting episode. I can't wait to film more places.
Oh, absolutely! I'm excited to put this out on Paraflix. So now I'm going to do a shameless plug. If you guys don't know what Paraflix is, definitely download it. It is the what they're calling the Netflix of the paranormal. It's all paranormal videos. It's nothing like that's on these other streaming services where you have like homemaker over shows mixed with paranormal, mixed with cooking and all that kind of stuff. This is just pure paranormal. And you can actually get it on Roku. You can get it on Amazon Fire. You can get it on Android, Apple TV. It is now out on. It's out on a lot of places, and Paraflix is actually doing very, very well right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see it really expand very, very soon. But it's $3.99 a month, and I believe it's $29.95 for an entire year, I think. But definitely make sure you guys do go check out Paraflix. It's phenomenal. We're a part of it. The Ghost Finders are part of it. Our good friends Expedition Entity is part of it. Where it's great.
It's less than $3 a month. So
yeah,
pretty good.
Way cheaper than other streaming services.
Yeah. In about a month from now, maybe 3 weeks, I'm going to Iowa City, and I'm going to see. I'm going to a cemetery called Oakland Cemetery, and there's a Black Angel statue, and supposedly the legend is that that on Halloween, I guess people gather around on Halloween, but if you touch or kiss the statue, you will be struck dead unless you are a virgin. Or if a pregnant woman walks beneath the statue's stretched wings, that woman will miscarry. I don't know how many of these incidents have actually happened, but definitely interesting to go there. And then I'm also going to the Bruce Moore Mansion, which is like a haunted mansion in Iowa City. So pretty excited to do that. It's a 21-room mansion. And yeah, it's pretty cool. That's what it looks like. So pretty excited there. See what happens.
And then didn't you say you were possibly going to end up going to the Villisca Axe murder house?
Yeah. Actually, Nick, you might come with to that. Might eventually make it to the Axe murder house. Probably not that weekend, but pretty soon here. Since my friends live in Iowa City, stay there, then head out from there. It'd be a lot easier from Chicago. But yeah, I can't wait to go there. I'm very excited.
Absolutely. It's not. I've always wanted to go to that place. Greg, who is on our paranormal team, he has been there with his other team that he's with, and they had a great time. They said there was a point during the night where they were about to go to sleep, or they were sleeping, and all of a sudden they heard like a big, huge, gigantic bang in the middle I think it was upstairs, and just woke everybody up. Everybody just, I think, stayed awake during that point. Um, and there's also a cat that roams around in there. There is a cat that will come sleep with you and all that stuff. So it'd be kind of cool to see that cat. Sorry, my microphone's being weird. There we go. So yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that we do have planned for 2020, well, the end of 2022 and 2023. We're definitely going to be doing a lot more investigations. And then we can't forget, we are throwing our huge, gigantic paranormal conference next year in Broadhead, Wisconsin, called Spirits in the Spring. We're going to be having it at Broadhead Manor. And we have so many vendors lined up. We have so many speakers lined up, including a special guest that I am not allowed to say just yet until I get final approval. But this is a person that, I can tell you this is a person that has been on Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, and all those other paranormal channels that are out there. So we are really, really excited. What did you say, Pat?
I wanted to see what the stars does. So I sent 99 stars.
Oh, so you sent 99 stars to the team's bank account. That's...
More investigations.
There you go. And you get to meet Johnny Hauser, the car of Veliska. I think this is Greg talking right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to go. It'll be perfect.
And then we do.
My two Iowa friends don't mind going to scary places because they live close, not too far from there. So it's a perfect place for me to stay at.
There you go. Yeah, I know we do want to go to another place that Greg has always constantly talked about. We will probably go there next year, Edinburgh Manor. And I think that is in... Is it also in Iowa, Greg? I know Greg is paying attention.
Scotch Grove.
Iowa. It is in Iowa. Okay.
Ooh, where is that? Let's see.
So yeah, we are going to plan on going back there. Now we really do want to do a huge, gigantic trip back to Indiana State Sanatorium, but this time at night. And we want to do a full investigation of the entire property. And I have to go back to that ward, the women's ward, that I saw that figure by myself, because I got to see what happens. Because there was another team, they call themselves the Shit Team. Pat and I had met them last year when we went to non-con in Ohio. And, well, the real team is Spectral Investigations. Wait, no. I'm going to get this wrong. She's going to be mad. Anyways, Janelle Lorkowski, that is her name. Janelle Lorkowski, she was she's with that team. And they actually went to Indiana State Sanatorium after we did. And I was telling them all the stories of everything that happened to us and then that whole experience. She said when they went on that floor, they kept getting my name, Nick, 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 Nick. So I don't know if I meant to go back there or if they really, really like who I am, or I don't know. But that place is definitely interesting, Pat.
Oh, yeah. Very.
Especially the dark hallways, too. That was something else. And then the death tunnel, where they brought all the victims that had passed away. And so the buildings, for those of you that don't know, Indiana State Sanatorium, they have all these buildings. And with the buildings, there's underground that connects them all. So it was like when somebody had passed away, they would go underground into these tunnels to get them out. And it was so cold in those tunnels, and it just... constantly felt like somebody was following you the entire time.
Yeah. Very dark. Couldn't see anything. Yeah.
Couldn't see about 2 inches in front of your face. It was terrifying.
Yeah. Then the superintendent's mansion on the property was cool. Had a basement, an attic, 2 floors. Just going through that was just, I don't know. It was creepy, but I don't know if there was any spirits in there just because it was just where the superintendent lived. But definitely one of my favorite buildings.
Right. It was almost kind of like when you walked into that building, you went back in time a little bit,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
saw exactly what they went through. Oh, there's Diana. Hi, Diana. Now, Diana went with us to Indiana State Sanatorium, and Diana had some stuff happen to her too. I was actually just watching a part of the video before we started our show where she was looking for you, Pat. She's like, Patrick, is that you, Patrick? But you were with us, and there was somebody else that walked by with a flashlight.
Yeah, that's right.
That we have no clue who that was because there was only 5. Yeah, there was only 5 of us on that property that day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was only 5 on the property with our good friends from Florida, which we hope are very, very safe right now because that hurricane is going to hit exactly where they live.
Yeah, sadly.
So ESP Explorers of Spirit Phenomena in Florida. Hopefully they are good. And they also went with to Ashmore Estates as well.
Yep, that was fun. Oh, one of my favorites is Nick and I went out to New England. We went to Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh
We
yeah.
went to Rhode Island. We went to the outside of the Conjuring house where not the actual Conjuring film, but the real Conjuring house and the Conjuring is based off of. Um, and also met Andrea Perrin, who was actually went through that. She was one of the daughters and met her father as well. And it was just really a really cool experience from Salem to the Warrens, Paracon, seeing the artifacts. That was a really cool trip.
Which they are doing again, end of the month, October. You can go ahead and meet the real Annabelle. Now let me tell you guys a story about Miss Annabelle. So when Pat and I went, we entered the room, or it was funny actually. Before we entered the room, all of a sudden we saw all the lights go off. Everybody freaked out in that room. They're like, "Oh my God, this is it!" Somebody hit the lights with their back, with the light switches right there. So it's Pat and my turn, and we enter the room. Pat and I got so nervous for no apparent reason. As soon as we entered that doorway, we got really nervous. And there was even a point where we were shaking too. Like we were like, oh my God. And here we come. We're coming around the corner, and there's Annabelle. We're taking pictures with her and video. And in my mind, I was like, Annabelle, please let me take a picture with you. I mean, no hard feelings or anything. And as soon as we left that room, we felt completely better. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
Well, we were hungry. I go to eat, and about 45 minutes after we ate, I got the worst toothache of my life, and I ended up I can't talk again. I ended up getting 4 teeth removed because of that wisdom, or because of that tooth problem. And I'm getting three wisdom teeth and that extra tooth, or in the tooth. Was it because of Annabelle? I don't know. A lot of people don't think so. They weren't there during that experience. So I still think Little Miss Annabelle had something to do with that.
Yeah, you were in pain that night, like really bad pain.
I couldn't sleep, and the next day we had to fly home too. So we were up at like 5 a.m. or something like that. We had to get to the airport at what, like by 7 for our flight back home.
Yep.
Greg says, I wish they didn't have a pizza ranch. I don't think they had pizza ranch. Long story. We'll explain about Pizza Ranch to you guys later. You guys don't need to hear that now. But yeah, that was definitely a fun trip. A little word of warning though: do not go to Salem during October, even though everybody really wants to and all that. I mean, we saw the Hocus Pocus houses, which was really cool. It's not the Hocus Pocus houses weren't as crowded as I thought they would be. Yeah, there were people, but it wasn't overly crowded. But when we went in October, it was too crowded to even walk into any of the stores. And they still had COVID going on and all that kind of stuff, so it was even hard to maneuver anywhere in Salem.
Mhm.
But so we'll give you guys a few more minutes of the show. Like I said, this was just kind of like a practice show just to see what we have coming up. So if you guys have any questions for us in the chat, let us know. If not, we'll give you guys a few minutes
Or
and
or any ideas of what you want us to talk about next? Any of our investigations of um, some other phenomena like Slender Man or any of those kind of things? Could be anything really. My
yep,
travel.
we'll talk about anything like that. We'll even talk about the Loch Ness monster because I know there's a lot of stuff about Miss Nessie in over there. We'll talk about any haunted location you guys want us to talk about. But yeah, if you guys have ideas or anything like that, you guys can always go to our Facebook page. You can write to us on there. You can leave a comment on this video tonight if you guys do think of anything. We're also streaming live on YouTube, and I don't think this episode we are going to use for Spotify. Our next episode, so we will use for Spotify. But our next episode that we will be doing is all about haunted locations all over. So if you guys have a favorite haunted location that you guys do want us to talk about, just let us know. Go ahead and leave a comment below. You can always email us to nick@shadowhuntersparrot.com. And Pat's is Shadow Pat or Pat?
Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know what mine is. Just you can email Nick, and I would get it that way.
Yeah, and I'll always send it to Pat. But it'll be Pat and I doing this show. We're going to try to go for 15 straight weeks. We'll kind of see what happens there. But I think we have enough material to talk about for our next upcoming shows and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, Pat, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. Just excited to see what else we can talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that we will be talking about. So make sure you guys do join us next week, next Tuesday, at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, as we're going to be talking all about different haunted locations in the entire world, not just what do you call it? Not just the United States. But Greg actually brought up a good point before we leave. Pat and I, Greg and Sharon did have an opportunity to investigate Joliet State Prison when Ursula Bielski was running it for Chicago Hauntings. We wish we could have went into other buildings, but unfortunately they did not let us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, could be a whole nother episode of what we found, including what I found in the toilet. So stay tuned.
That's actually what Greg just said too. What did Patrick find in the toilet?
We'll see. Stay tuned to find out more.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining in for our kind of practice episode. And yeah, we will catch you guys next week at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time right here on Shadowhunters Paranormal Investigation and Events Facebook page. Make sure you do stay tuned for tomorrow, as we do have Greg Koss and his Metaphysical Crossing show back on tomorrow. Metaphysical Crossing is where Greg is at one location, I'm at another, other people at other locations, and we see if the spirit can actually travel from location to location. We have had good success with this. We have had our paranormal equipment go off because of this. So we like to do the show every single Wednesday. Thursday, we do not have a show. There are no shows on Thursday. But then on Friday becomes back with Greg Koss again and the Shadow Hour, which is also at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So thank you guys for watching our little preview show of what we do have coming up. And we will see you guys next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Bye, guys.
Losing our minds in a house.